Good evening, welcome back to the lab. Can I call it that? I don't know really if that's what it is. It's a corner over here with a soldering iron and a little bit of space, just enough space to do a little bit of stuff. That's the plan. You're very welcome. This is Molten Modular, Molten Music Technology, or whatever. I'm Robin, and welcome to what will be the soldering of the Erica Synths EDU VCF. So yes, you are in the right place. This is what we're going to be doing. The long-awaited filter, a diode-based ladder filter that we didn't learn about last night. Last night we just learned about filter design in general, which was good. I felt it was a good, solid bunch of kind of learning about something that we know well, but I'd never really thought about the actual mechanics of it. So that was enlightening for me, and I hope that was helpful for you too. So if you're interested to know all about the sort of circuit design behind this filter, then do go and download the manual from the Erica Synths website, go through that, and go and check out the video live stream from last night and watch as we craft together the essential components of a voltage controlled filter. That's what we're doing. My mic will get better, Ian, honestly, as I get closer in. I'm just talking to camera directly for the moment. All right, so just bear with it. Otherwise, I'll have to be adjusting all over the place, and I'd rather not do that. But I will endeavour to speak louder for those at the back. So you're very welcome to interact in the chat. Do come and talk to us. Say hello. Need to put that somewhere. Because this is very much supposed to be a shared experience, an interactive experience. I mean, I might be doing the dirty work, but heck, the idea is that you build along, because this is happening in real time. This isn't one of those time-lapsed, pre-produced type DIY videos. No, this is the real thing happening right now. And to that end, we should probably just crack on, I think. I mean, it doesn't look like a very long build, but there's still going to be some. So if you're here for the first time, then congratulations, and do go and check out the other videos. So far we've covered the voltage controlled oscillator, the envelopes, the VCA, and the sequencer. So this really is the final piece in that puzzle of a synthesizer voice. And then having built this, we'll have an entire synth voice to play with, which is really exciting. And then we're going to sort of pad that out with, I think, an effect and a sample and hold or some other kind of wave folding kind of thing, which is going to be very cool. But our focus tonight is the VCF, this fella here. So we'll come back to the panel no doubt at some point, but for the moment our focus is going to be on the PCB. But let's begin, as you should, just by having a look at the bill of materials to make sure that we have everything. So what's going to be the best shot for that, do you think? The manual, possibly? No, the overhead, I think. So let's do that. Hope my voice hope my voice holds out. Right, so this is the bill of materials in the manual, which you should be able to see, as well as, let's make that a little bit bigger, as well as this space here into which I'll drop all the different components as we find them. So I have measured the resistors beforehand in order to save us 20 minutes. So we should have 500Ks. Oh, no, I dropped them everywhere. See, oh dear, so that's a good idea. And then it's all gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these have all been messed up because we used them last night in our breadboard. But I have 5 of those. 68s, there should be 2. 68, that's 2. 33s, there should be 8 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. 27s, there should be 2. Yep. 27s, 2 of. 14s. Oh. Should be 1 of those apparently. I don't know that I've come into contact with. Oh yeah, no, look. That was a 14K. I seem to have 3. Okay, well, you know, it's no harm in having too many. 2Ks, there should be 2. That's this little bunch here, 2Ks. 1K, there should be 3. Can you see that? Over there. 1, 2, 3. And then 10 ohms, there should be 2, which I've got here. So I'm good on the resistors. Let me put those back over here in a way where I'm going to be able to find them easily. They're not just going to blow away. Because they'll be the first things in, I should think. I put those there. Good. That's the resistors. Check. On the capacitor side of things, oh, I've lost those. Oh no, here they are. A pair of 47 microfarad electrolytic. They're the ones that are polarized, so the leg's important. They've got a negative written down the side. Got those. 2 of these, which are the microfarad J1s. 6 of the red ones, which are the nano 100 nano. Oh, hang on. Let me get this right. So we've got 5 of those. These are the film ones. 1 nanofarad, which means that the ceramics are these bobbly ones here, of which I should have 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, good. Capacitors. Lots of diodes. 2 of the big fat sort of power regulator ones. And then 9 of the 4148s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those ones. These are the things that are doing the filter business, because it's a diode filter. Couple of regular pots, so there should be 5. Any more? Yeah. A couple more bits in here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 B104s. That's 100k. That one is. Couple of regulars, it says. I've kind of got 1 regular. Unless it's 5 in total. Are these all the same? Because these have got much smaller knobs on, but I think there's only 1 actual big knob for the filter cutoff, so that's probably that one, and the rest are just for the other parameters. If we look at our front panel, then this is going to be that one, and I've got then 4 for those other ones. That makes sense. Okay, a trimmer, which is this little fella, little blue one. Some jack sockets, which are these. A couple of chips, which are the op amps. That is about it. We've got a knob, which is always nice, power connector, a few screws. Job's a good one. Thanks, Ken. Good to have you with us. So that is just a summary of the bill of materials. So we know we've got everything we need to build the thing. So now we can skip through all of the theory on to the very practical nature of building the thing. It's here somewhere. I've seen it. I've definitely seen it. Here we go. Okay. Let's have a look at the manual for the minute. So before we start building, we'll take a look at the complete voltage controlled filter schematics that were used for the final module's design and fabrication. Most components on the production schematics have denominations and a name like R1, C1, D1, etc. and values next to them. Denominations help identify each component. So, should we have a look at it and see if we can spot what these things are? Now, we have to consider that yesterday we didn't actually build the circuit we're going to be soldering. We built a simpler version of it. So maybe we won't spot things quite so easily, but let's have a look. It's a lot of description. Where's the schematic? Here she is. Right. So crikey. So let's see if I can make any sense out of this at all. Let me put my glasses on. Is that going to help me? No, not in the slightest. So I'm just going to have to zoom in. Right, so over here, this looks like an input, which is then going through a voltage divider into an op-amp. So we've got an input level with a potentiometer on it. Just going to use my mouse so you can see what I'm looking at, which is here. Into an op-amp, which has got a feedback loop established just to take that voltage over to the next bit. Then over here, we have something else, which is doing a bit of steadying and stability, I think. And then that is powering into our ladder of diodes here, which is doing the actual filtering. Down here, we've got some CV control, which again is being brought in via some op-amps to control things, evidently. Oh, I usually sound much more together than that. Then over the top here, we've got the resonance part of the circuit. And then we've got all this business here giving us there's a sync, there's a bit of steadying going on, buffering, and then there's the output. Does any of that make any sense? Doesn't really need to at this stage. We're just trying to identify the different bits that might come important when we start putting it together. But hopefully it'll all be relatively easy. So before we start soldering, they recommend printing some things out. Yeah, it's a good idea. I mean, we could get back to that at some point. I haven't done that myself. I'm just going to compare what I've got here with what they are showing me, because my PCB is a lot more busy than what they've got on there. Let's have a look. So what can I see? So as far as the silk screen and the labeling on the board, labeling on the board goes, this has gone a bit strange, but that's all right. See, all the resistors, which are the let me get this squared in the actual thing that we're looking at. Hang on, let me just adjust myself here. I'm a little bit far away. There we go, a bit more in the middle. Get that out of the way so that you can see what's going on. So all of the resistors are on here as these rectangles, but they all have a percentage sign after their value, but their value is on the board, so we know exactly what resistor to put in where, so that's good. Similarly, we've got the diodes here. They're the two fat ones around the power socket. The other ones are there. And then there's a whole stack of them in the middle. Capacitors going there. The two chips. Doesn't look too difficult. Then the hardware goes on this side. Okay, we do have, I believe, both straightforward horizontal resistors and ones that stand up. as well. But the plan, as with most builds, is to do it in height order. So that means doing the resistors and the diodes first, before moving on things to the capacitors, the IC holders, and then the stand-up resistors, and so on until the thing is done. That's the plan. That's the plan. So let's move on. Okay, so place it in a holder. While we know I don't have a holder, you know by now that I like to just do these things in my hands as best I can without messing about with jaws of death or helping hands or anything actually useful. I just get kind of stuck in. So here's our first picture. So in this image, they've put in all the flat resistors and the diodes, I think, in entirety. Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. So they've put in some resistors, switching diodes, power protection diodes. Bend, 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 insert the diodes, inserting orientation is critical. Yes, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the resistors, put those in and solder them and see where we get to. I'm going to turn my fan on over here, which hopefully shouldn't blow anything away other than the smoke. Turned on my soldering iron, I'm up to 380 degrees, which is generally what I find to be good for me. Get rid of that. Get some solder. It is a ladder filter, Ken, yeah. So it's a Moog style filter, ultimately is what we're talking about, which is nice. So I'll put that somewhere in the middle. So I need to be looking on here for resistors. So I think I'm going to start over here and just put them in. So the two 68.1s, that's these. Now some of my resistors are already bent in a stupid way because of our last attempt last night of putting them into the thing. But you just put them in, you put them down, you bend the legs on the other side. Now Quincus, the synth DIY guy who has done a video on this, shows him soldering from above, which I find fascinating. So he solders from this side, particularly for resistors, which is a great idea. It's just something I've never quite, I just don't trust myself enough to do. As in, I know what I'm doing the other way up, and I'm kind of sticking with it. But if you are able to solder from above, that might save you a little bit of time or trouble, a little bit of mess of having to deal with resistor legs. But you'll also need to have this held into some kind of thing so that when you poke the legs through, they're not hitting the floor. But I don't have all of that, so I'm doing it a bit more old school like, I suppose. So just bend those legs out. Then I need 100k. Pop that one in there. Orientation is not important, it's only important aesthetically if you want them all to look similar. Like have the big fat band at one side or not. 1k. Over here. Oh, there's another 100k there. And a 2k. 2k, that's this one. 33, which is this bunch of geezers here. Oh, hair, yeah, nice, nice. Another 33. Then moving up the board, got our two 10s over here, which are the brown ones. Another 27. There's a 1K. Lost it. Oh, there it is. Now all the remaining resistors, I think, are all of the upright ones that sit up on the board. So I guess we'll get on with a bit of soldering then. Yeah, to see our Jensen, the gear you need, things like the breadboards and bits and pieces, you'll need to get those yourself. The kit just comes with all of the components, the panel, front panel, the hardware, the knobs, everything you need to build the actual module, but not the tools with which to do it. So the breadboarding and stuff, I mean, it cost like 12 quid from Amazon, I think it was, for a breadboard and a bunch of wires. I ended up getting some more patch wires because they were a bit long, which cost me, I don't know, another tenner. So you've got, you know, 20 quid's worth of investment to make, plus the soldering iron, you know, or borrow your mum's or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to put on my safety specs. Yeah, the post-its are just telling me, because I measured all of the resistors before I came on air, would you believe it? So I didn't have to waste a whole load of time doing it. So because they were all over the place in the other build, I've got crap all over these. Yeah, I did them with post-it notes. Yes, resistor organisation ploy. What is going on with that? I had spiders having fights on me specs. Oh, it'll have to do. Right, so soldering iron. Stuff it in your iron woolly stuff, and a sponge for reasons I can't remember. Is that? Can you see that? All right. Yeah. Good. Good. So what I do is I heat up one of the pads, which is, you know, the ring, if you like, around the leg. Try to put the tip of the soldering iron against the leg and the pad. Heat it for a moment or two. Then present some solder, and it will just beautifully melt in there. Take the solder off, take the iron off, and it's a beautiful bit of soldering. That's it, and you just got to keep on doing that. It's like a Zen game. It's like golf or archery, snooker. Hey Steve, you're just doing the same thing over and over again, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Usually, I mean, I found that these kits solder really nicely because the pads are relatively large, so you can get your iron in there. You feel like you're heating it up. The solder moves really nicely. So there's a lot to be said for the way these kits are laid out. They did a good job on that. Sometimes soldering can be a bit of a struggle if you can't get the fat end of your soldering iron into where it needs to be. I tend to use a little bit too much solder, if you're wondering, but it's all right. It's working for me. Working for me. I think that's pretty good. Hope my head's not too much in the way. Obviously, if you have your PCB in some kind of holder, it's not going to move around as you press on it with the soldering iron. But heck, where's the fun in that? We're here for an adventure after all. It's just the most beautiful soldering. See, it's interesting. I just got a splash of solder onto my thumb. And it's always a reminder to myself that it's really good to wear safety specs, because every now and again a piece of solder will just spit. And it would be devastating if it hit you in the eye. Okay, good. Once you've soldered a bunch of stuff, give it a look over, see if there's anything which just seems completely wrong or a different shape to everything else. They should all look like kind of mini mountains, mini volcanoes almost. That's what they should look like. Good. Then you need a pair of cutters. Cut off the legs. Oh, that one went. That'll end up in my foot later on. That one hit me in the face again. Cockles are a good idea. Right, lovely. Lovely. Get rid of all your legs. I usually have a pot that I stick them in. And then one day I'll sell that pot, make lots of money. Good, right, focus. What's next? Diodes. So that's these fellas here. Now these have an orientation. They have you know, a direction through which current flows, and they have to be the right way around, otherwise your whole thing will not work. So these go on here. These are the IN4148s, these fellas here. So there's a whole bank of them there. There's also 2 here, but there doesn't seem to be any information on those just yet, so I'm going to ignore those. Instead, we've got 6 there. I think I've got 8 in total. No, 9 in total. So there's 2 more there. 1 over there. Okay. And the 2 fatter ones are there. So let's do this lot then. Now there's a quick tip. You can call it a tip, I don't know. In bending components. So I tend to take 4 or 5 together and bend them all. And then I just turn them 90 degrees, bend them all. And they're good, usually about right. Well, we'll see, won't we? So make sure they go the right way around. So you can see the line here on the silk screen. That needs to go with the line on the diode. So as you can see, that one is the wrong way round. So I need to turn it over, make sure that that black line is with that line on the print. So the next one goes the other way around. This one, same way as the last one. This one the same again. I'll try to do these 5 together. Hold them together, give it a bend, turn it 90 degrees, give them a bend. Job done. This one is back the other way. And then facing the other way again. Then there's 2 over here. Black line facing that way. Then the other way. And then the last one is over here. Black line facing up. That's cool. Then we've got these 2 fat ones here. Oh, these are power regulator ones. Oh. Big and chunky. One goes over here. This time the black line, and was on the other one, is now grey, but it's still the same deal. That line goes with the line on the print on the board. So it's the right way around. Oops. Thick old legs. This one goes that way around. Make sure that's right. Good. Then you got a whole bunch of soldering. So with these thick-legged diodes, they'll just take a little bit longer to heat up, and as I'm doing here, you end up just sticking solder directly onto the iron rather than actually on the leg at all. So you just got to give it a moment, and then it should go nicely. beautiful. It's just really flowing this evening. Yeah, we got a lot of birds. Hope I get a chance to do some more outside performances this summer. That's something I'd like to do. Well, performance in general is something I'd like to do a lot more of. I have plans for doing some mobile stuff. I want to test the idea of some battery powered mobile performancing, take myself off into the fields and the forests, that kind of thing. A bit more motorcycle stuff going on. That's all good. Just got to get my performance rig squared away and try not to change it. I mean, I'm about to do a whole bunch of changing on it, but I kind of feel I've just gotten together all the bits that I was kind of looking for, and I'm in an hour in about. I think it's now ready to go, which is great. No cockerel so far though, thank goodness. Give it time. Lovely. So that hopefully should look like the picture. Some of the colours of the resistances of the resistors may be different, not the coloured bands, but the actual colour of the body of the resistor may be different. Don't worry about that, they vary a lot. Otherwise, that looks perfect. I'm having a really happy time of it so far. Hooray! Hooray! Okay, next bit. The dip sockets, or IC holders, depending on what you want to call them. Out, make sure they are orientated correctly, and then do the ceramic capacitors. Right, so we'll do the sockets first. So as you can see, there's a little gap, a little nick on the front of the IC holder, and that needs to go with the corresponding one on the silk screen here. So not that way around, this way around. Which reminds me, somebody pointed out that I did one the wrong way around on the Decard's Dream voice cards that I did the other week, and I need to remember that. So when I come to doing plugging in the chips, I've got to remember there's one of those little 8-legged IC holder socket things is the wrong way around. Somebody spotted that, which is just amazing. And apparently they spotted it just while I was saying, make sure that you put them in the right way around. And then I failed to do so, which is amazing. So with these little things, obviously you're going to have to turn it over to solder and then it will all fall out. What I tend to do is just use a thumbnail and push a leg in either corner, and it should be enough just to hold it in as you turn it over. Where's the other one? Oh, over here. So here's the other one, that way around. Drops in there. These are both the same. They're the same chip, same IC holder. Go on. Yep, that's in, there's the nick, that's the front, that's good. I mean, they're not orientated or anything, so it's actually, if you do put it in backwards, it doesn't matter as long as you put in the chip the right way, you know. It's just to transfer what's on the PCB print to the component. And what's important is that the chip's the right way around. Right, so those two are on, so I'm going to tentatively turn those over, and that should be fine. So when I solder them, I'm just going to press down, do a corner, and then check that they're all right. Because if they're not all right, desoldering dip sockets is really hard, really hard. So I'm going to hold the whole thing down. Just do one pad. Keep it holding down so it's going to be flat. And do the other one over here. Hold it all down. Do one. Keep it flat and straight as you take it off. And give it a quick look. Flat enough, I would say. Flat enough. So then you can do the rest of the legs without having to worry too much about it. You should be able to motor along. Do that one again because I didn't quite take. Oh, it's here. Why can't I see it? What's the matter with me? Good. It's one there that's just a little bit pathetic, so I'm going to add a little bit more to it. There we go. Good. Right way round, right way round. Lovely. So now the ceramic capacitors. That's these little blobby fellas here. I think these are all the same. 104s. Nearly always. These are not polarized. So it doesn't matter which way round they go. And they go in all these little slots here. 1 microfarad. It says on the board next to it what they are. So you've got one in there. Little pokey, sharp things. Now, of course, we're using the photos in the manual as well as a guide to making sure we're putting them in the right place. So we cannot go far wrong. Oh, we can go a long way wrong. But we shouldn't do. If you've got your wits about you, shouldn't do. There's the last one there. That matches what I can see on the screen. Lovely. Now also on this picture I can see they've done the upright resistors, so that's interesting. Does that say to do those next? Yes. So I bent all the legs on those so they shouldn't fall out as I turn it over. It doesn't matter if they're completely flush. Stick them in. Woo! That one's all over the place. That's okay. It recovered. What's going on today with my snippers? Okay. No, there's one. Okay. Good, right. So vertical resistors then. So you should find these on the board. They should have little circles on. Not that. Or that one. Wrong one to point at. These ones here. So I've got an R19 here, 33 and a 33. Two together. Another 33 there. And a 4K. So all the rest of the resistors should have this experience. Now, I mean, all it means is that you're mounting it in that orientation rather than flat. So they're sticking up vertically. So all you do is on the circle on the board, that's where you put the body, not that it matters, and put the rest in like that, and it will sit up and look like an old television set. This is another 33. I did completely the other way. Oh, well, never mind. I mean, as a general rule, I like to keep my resistors uniform, matching, all the same way round, that kind of thing, particularly if the same type. So I do try to do that. I completely failed on this occasion. Okay, there's some interesting ones here. Okay, so the labelling is just a little bit far away, but there's a 33 there and a 33 there. And then there's a 100 and a 27, so there's two 33s just in there. And there's a 100. Oh, all my 100s have flown away. So 100. Yeah, that's going to be the 27, isn't it? There's the three together, that's 100. Yeah. Adamski's back. Gonna spin us some more tunes. That's 100. That's the 27. Okay, another 33 around here. Three. The other 33 is over here. Over here I've got a 4K, which are these ones. Get off me. it's one of those things where you just suddenly remember there was something you didn't do. I mean, I don't mean on this. I mean today. Generally, oh damn it, there was something I was going to do that was quite important and I completely haven't. Damn it. Damn it, damn it. Never mind, I'll have to try again tomorrow. So I've got 2 more 14s here. Was that a 14? That was. Over there. Oh, it's that sudden realisation. Oh my goodness, I just remembered something. Completely screwed that up. Mano, if you're watching, sorry about that, mate. I really meant to do that. I just did not happen. I'll get to it. Flipping will. Oh, I hate letting good people down. That's the 14s. What have I got left? Got a 1K and a couple of hundreds. Over here, 100, 100 and a 1. Good to see. It's always very satisfying when you've used up all your resistors because it makes you feel like you're doing the right thing. It's going right, you know, everything's going away. What's this? 100, wasn't it? Yeah. You haven't missed anything out, or you have the right number of stuff. And a 1K. Good. That's all my resistors accounted for. Let's solder them in. You can tell that from here. I don't know all the things you speak. I haven't gone through the rest of the manual to discover the nature of the diode ladder filter. I would have liked to, but it's yet another one of those things I haven't had time to do today. Oh, come on. Oh dear. Scrappy. Very scrappy. Oh, I'm losing the whole flow. good. Lovely, lovely. Woo! Just one there, it's a little bit light on solder, I think. Cool. Oh, got a capacitor scooped up in my cleaning. Good, so we are looking the same. Going on, that's an hour, that's not too bad. Once you're done the soldering resistors, the PCB should look like this. Yes, yeah, I think it does. I think it bloomin' does. Now we've got to do the electrolytic capacitors. Now the thing with that is that they are a little tall, so I might do the film ones first. It would make more sense to do the film ones, wouldn't it? Rather than the electrolytics, because they're shorter. So yeah, I'm going to elect to do that slightly differently. It's entirely up to you. Ultimately, you just have to get everything installed. So I'm going to do these film ones first, starting with these ones, and then the white ones, and then the electrolytics, purely because they're different heights. So with the red ones, they will go in a chunk in the middle here. So let's do all of those. Now these aren't polarized either, so it doesn't matter which way round they go in. Like that. There's not a whole lot of leg to bend, but they seem to do all right. Ow, they're a bit spiky. So they should stay in as I turn it over, and then they should hold themselves in because of the height. Because of the height business. Solder those nice and quick. Quickly, why? Don't know. We can solder them in nice and slow. That's also fine. Cool, nip the little negs off. So these white ones, they go there and over here. There's also one of these that might be worth putting in before we put in the electrolytics. These are the 1 microfarad. I think what I like about it, in response to Mike's comment about patience, is that it just forces you to work at a particular speed. You can't really hurry your way through it, and that's good. I like that a lot. You know, it has a methodical quality to it, which, you know, I don't usually act like this in any other part of my life, you know. So it's a nice break. It's a change from things being chaotic or frenetic. I quite like that. I don't mind the time slipping by. Particularly, I mean, obviously within certain limits. It gets more stressful when you've been doing it for a couple of hours and then you're trying to test the thing and it's not quite coming together. Look at that, it's lovely, lovely. Now it's urging me to do these, and I kind of want to do these first, but then look, they're about the same size. So I will do what it says, and that's to put the 2 electrolytics in. Now these are here, and you've got this stripe on it, and that stripe indicates the stripe on there, which is the negative bit. So, oh, they're the wonky legged ones. Oh, what a load of rubbish. Stupid things they are. So your long leg is positive, your short leg is negative. Long leg goes into the square pad. On this instance, that's not always the case. And the negative side goes towards the stripe that's on the board. And somehow they've got to get through the kink. What I could do, I could cut the legs off, couldn't I? Yeah, I could have done that, but I'm in there now. I'm in there now. So long leg positive, going on the square pad, negative, going towards that line. Wiggly waggly. In. Lovely, let's get those in. No, that was just straight onto the iron. Oh, that looks terrible. Give it a bit of heat. That'll make it look a bit better. Yeah, that's fine. Good. I've lost my pot. There we go. Looking great, looking like a little thing, isn't it? Piece of electronics. So, then complete the component side by soldering the PSU socket, power socket, this fella. Goes on here. And the multi-turn trimmer thing, this one here. It's got 3 legs in interesting places. Make sure the orientation of the socket is shown. Yep, okay. So for the socket here, it's got this little tiny nick off the side here, and that indicates the side that it's got the hole in. Yeah, that's the way around it goes. That's my understanding. So that when the power supply goes in, it comes out this way. I think that's completely right. That's how it should be. You know, yeah, just about. You can see that on the photo. And then this fella should go in here with the, oh look, it's got printed the screw thread to tell you where that goes. Annoyingly, the 3 legs are kind of offset, so it's going to have to go in a little bit strangely, because the 3 holes on here are straight. But, you know, it's not the end of the world. Squeeze it in, should be fine. Can I just sort of turn it over without it all coming apart? I think I can. Yeah, I think I can. Now that's going to be a bit of trouble. So I'm just going to stick something under that to hold it up. A little bit. Is that going to work? Something. Then I'm going to push down on here. I need that out of the way now. Alright, well this isn't great, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some solder on it for that one leg, and I'm going to see if I can just push that down enough to make it yeah, no, that was pretty crap really, wasn't it? Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put my thumb on it, try not to go when I'm going to heat it, and I'm going to heat up that leg, and so I can push it in a bit flatter. Then release, let it cool. That should be better. That's better. There you go. Just manhandling it. That's the way. Yep, and the funny 3-legged thing over here. That's got a very small pad on it, making it much more difficult to solder. Or not. Good. Ouch, something is hot over there. An LCD microscope. Oh, okay. That's a good thing to think about for the future. So I think that's all the major components. That's great. Look at that. 1.25 hours, not too bad. Now turn it around and inspect your solder joints. Yikes, everybody goes. Now that all looks fine. Now I would normally, of course, set to with a toothbrush and a whole bunch of alcohol, but no, I don't really do that. I think it's generally good as it is. But you're looking for bridges where you get 2 components that are sort of soldered together by accident, or You're looking for ones that just don't have anywhere near enough solder on at all, but that's all looking all right to me. Insert the jack sockets and solder them. What, just like that? So that's this way round now. These are the jack sockets. And these pop on, you just push that, see this leg here? Push that one in the extra hole, and that kind of holds it in, sort of. Gives it just enough friction, so when you turn it over, they don't all fall out. Well, at least that's the general plan, I think. See all those? They just want us to solder them. Really? Can I have anything else that's going to sort of like... Yeah? Okay. And then the pots, and don't solder them. Now you know, I could do this leg here from this side, like I'm a pro. What do we think? Could we do that? I could set it on something. It needs just to be lifted up a little bit. Think about it, think about it. Okay, failed. Let's try that. There we go. So right, I'm going to try to solder these from this way around. Just these little legs. So I'm not going to press down too hard, so I don't want to topple it over. He says, pressing too hard and toppling it over. Nope, don't want it to move. That all went just up the leg. I mean, up the thing. See, that might be a good idea. That might have worked, might have pulled that off. Or then on the other hand, no, maybe not. So let me check with the old front panel. See, they fit all right. They've got plenty of play in them, so they're not really that bothered. Now, I would say, though, that this one is poking out a little bit. So I am just going to very carefully heat that leg up and see if I can get it just to push down without burning myself. There we go, that's better. That's flat. Now I'll turn it over and do the rest of the underside. That was exciting, wasn't it? Oh, and Ian asked me about the Mavis, the Moog Mavis yesterday, because he assumed that I had one and was going to be doing a video. And no, I don't actually have one. However, I did speak to our man today, and he said, "Oh, you should have had one by now." So that's exciting. So there's a Mavis on the way at some point. And also, I don't know if you saw that DivKid's got one, and is just taking his time over doing the video, which is interesting. Because there is that element with getting stuff before, you know, to make a video for release day, is that you don't always get a whole lot of time, and it's not always going to fit in. So everyone's scrabbling around trying to get them released on that dot because you've been asked to, of course, which is the right thing to do. Can be difficult and can result in potentially not putting enough time into what it is you're trying to talk about. It's tricky. It's a balance. So DivKid's taking his time and is going into in-depth semi-modular patching, which is very interesting. That should be a great video. What am I going to do? I'm going to do how well it survives being dropped off a house. Something that nobody else has done, perhaps. Okay, so that's those patch sockets in. That's glorious. Then we've got to put the pots in without soldering them. Now this is the one that I had in the breadboard, so it's all bent up. It's not good. So these go in here with the trimmer type ones are the 4 that go together. You can see the 3 pins on the board and the 2 holder ones. I don't know what they're called. The lugs, side lugs. That is completely failed to go in there. Oh dear, oh dear. Good, and then the bigger one, this green one here, goes in the top. This is the cut off. Lovely. Now we don't solder these because what we want to do is use the front panel to make sure that they stay, because they're a bit, can wobble a bit, that they stay right and that the panel will go on. So put on the panel, fix it in place. Oh, maybe you do. Don't solder them, fit the front panel, okay. Make sure it's aligned and then solder them. Right, okay. So you do that, you put this on, right? Then you're supposed to solder it. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put that nut on and one of these ones down here, just to hold that front panel on. Yeah. Now I tell you, in the scary eggshell world of YouTubers, you don't want to be criticizing another YouTuber's YouTubing. That's the last thing you want to do. You need to stick together. Right. So yeah, what am I talking about? So look, I've screwed this on so to make sure that these stay correctly aligned, and now I'm going to solder it in from the other side. And you have to be extra careful not to melt stuff. Try not to melt stuff. Always think about, I'm not going to melt things. I'm just going to put the iron there where it's not in any trouble from anything else, and that's going to go in nicely. Fill in that hole with lots and lots of solder. And I'm going to reach into this one without melting that resist. No, I'm not. I'm going to come in from this angle. Oh, I'm going to do that one. It's tricky. Oh, tricky. So I need to focus and concentrate on this bit. Got some dog going off now. Come on, get it on the leg for heaven's sake. Oh, it's a bit blobby, that's better. Alright, so that one's done there, that one's done there. This one's nothing on it. Oh. Ah. that's good. There's one missing there. Now what about the top one? So that's that one done, that one done, that one done, that one done. Now I've got this one at the top. Good. All done, all done. All done, I think. Does that need a washer? Probably. The others, are they just... No, they're not washers. Install the front panel, fix the 5 hex nuts, socket and a washer, and a hex nut on the top potentiometer. Okay, so that washer should have been on there, really. Should have been on there. Just to, you know, stop it getting a bit funny. Goes that way around. It only need to be finger tight, really. Don't think you need to tool it in. Good. And the knob. Now the knob has a little tiny screw, and that's going to enable us to put this on here. So I'll need a little flathead. Maybe a bit too big. No, that works fine. And what you want to do is turn the knob all the way around to the left. Stick your knob on. Oh, it's not fit. No, is it not fit? Is that not quite gone far enough? Stick your knob on. There we go. That's better. And sight it at the far left bit, and then screw it tight, and that then should be like perfect, like. You can be as pedantic as you jolly well like. That light, sometimes it shines, sometimes it dims. We just don't know. Look, that goes all the way around almost perfectly. Good enough for me. Good enough for me. Look at that. That's like a finished module. Still need to put the chips in, but other than that, we are pretty much there. Whoa. Sweet. Now insert the ICs into the respective sockets. Yeah, and then you're done. Awesome. This has been really nice. So it's come up to 9 o'clock. That's an hour and a half. And, you know, obviously I had 20 minutes of talking to start with. So it's been a really smooth build. Now, of course, it's not going to work. So it's only going to have 2 hours of troubleshooting. But, you know, for the moment, let's revel in the idea that it might just be gorgeous. Now this is a little tool that helps me straighten those legs, because otherwise they can be troublesome to get in because they tend to be a little bit splayed. But having done that, I now look for the notch on here, line that up with the notch on here, final check on the PCB that was the way it should have been. So you don't want to put in chips the wrong way around. Push it in nice and firmly. Do that one. This one is going forwards up that way. Ow! That should be that way around. That should drop in. And it bleeding's not. I'm going to give it another squash. In case I didn't do that quite right. Oh God, all fingers and thumbs suddenly. See, that is exactly round the wrong way. So let's put it in the proper way. So the notch is going that way. That's better. Squash it down. Good. Nice and firm. Lovely. Now that should be done. That's my understanding. Look at that. Congratulations, you've finished your module. Connect it to your power supply, switch it on. If there's no smoke, then patch it in and see what happens. Da, ba, ba. So there we are. Woo. So I turn off my soldering iron. Well, at least for the moment. I mean, there may be problems that we're not yet to find. So we'll see. But that is where we are at the moment. So beam. There's my finished module. Exciting. Very, very exciting, I have to say. Right, let's get my thing in and we'll plug it in and we'll start to have a bit of a play. That's the plan. I mean, the plan is I'll plug it in, it'll work, and then we can just make some 5-note music. That'd be great. I haven't turned everything on again in order to make that happen. Oh, rats. Well, let's plug it in and get no smoke first, and then I'll worry about whether there's I can route out to actually a thing to make noise and that. So with this, we plug the thing in. It can only go in one way round, like that. Ooh, it's a bit PCB bending going on there. This, where am I going to put it, or where can it fit? I suppose. Oh my goodness. I think it's going to go over here after the VCA. No, I mean, that doesn't seem quite right. It's before the VCA, isn't it? So this is going to fit, I think, here before the VCA. So I'm going to plug it in without the power being on currently. I'll plug it into my Erica Synth case. So I'm not going to screw it in yet because the old screw threads in here are pretty tricky for my knurlies. So before I screw it in more permanently, let's just test it to see whether we get something coming through. So I'm going to turn it on. There's no light on it at all to tell us if anything's actually working, but nothing is steaming or catching fire. So that's a good sign, a very good sign. So I just need to get some audio. So I used this cable before. Give me a sec. Hello Moth, are you back again? I thought you'd wandered off. Okay. Apologies if it's too loud. We'll work it out as we go. So I want, what do I want? I want an output. I want the output of the VCO to go in. Ooh! And I want the output of the filter to go into the VCA. Oh look, I've got in level. Oh look, there's something. Okay, something seems to be working, so that's a good sign. So I think I'm just going to secure this in with at least 1 or 2 screws, and then patch it in, and we'll have a bit of a look. We'll have a bit of a look. I'll turn the volume up at my end so I can actually hear the thing. So I'm sort of moving ahead in a, I think it's all just going to work kind of way, which is quite cute really. Right, so let me overhead this. Let's bring this out as far as it will go. Give the mic a minute. Put that to there. Put it back onto the overhead. Turn that up. You're still getting a high-pitched squeal. Sorry about that. Where's that coming from? No, it might just be me. Well, I've definitely got some interference from something, but I'm not going to worry about it. Right, so let's have a look. Where are we? Got this on here. Da, da, da. Let's turn the thing on again, and let's see whether we can get some action. So I want to take my output ultimately from my VCA. So I've got my pulse going in. I've only got the one input. Okay, so I'm just going to take this from the other side. Like that. This out's going to go into there. Now I'm going to want triggering of things. So this is CV out. That's going to go into there. I want the gate out. That one to be triggering my envelope. There we go. There we go then. Can you hear that high-pitched noise? I don't know. I don't think it's anything to do with this. I think it's to do with my system over there because there was nothing going through the mixer. Anyway, by the by, that was rather nice, that, I have to say. Now, there's something that I haven't done, and that's calibrated the resonance. There's a trimmer on the back with which you can set the kind of level of resonance that you desire, that you are happy with. I forgot to do that completely, but I don't know, it sounds pretty good to me. It's really interesting that when I adjusted the pulse width on the VCO, I guess it gives it a slightly harder edge. The filter really liked that. Really liked it. And seemed to push itself over the edge. I'm not getting self-resonance particularly. But then again, if I adjust that trimmer, I probably could. But that's sounding really interesting. There's some slight quirkiness to this whole system. There's almost like there's a doubling going on somewhere in either one of those envelopes or in the VCA or something that I'm not quite sure about, but I don't really care to examine. I'm kind of taking it in as it is and seeing where it goes. So we've got space. I mean, something that would be good at this point would be a mult, so that I can take the sequence and gate both the VCA and the envelope, or both the envelopes, that kind of thing. That would be good. Also a mixer would be good, so I can use more than one waveform at a time. All those things would be good, and I think those things are coming. But otherwise, no. I mean, it's what a great sound. I mean, I did put it through some delay and reverb at the end there, which is always nice. Those are things that are always welcome. But we have space now for 1, 2, 3, 4 more modules, I think. So the next one shouldn't be along too soon, I shouldn't think. Too long, too soon? I don't know. I'm losing my mode of speech. It shouldn't be too long before the next one, is what I'm trying to say. So yes, that's so look out for that. I'll hopefully be on that one more or less as soon as it comes out. But this is shaping up to be a nice little thing. So there we go. That was the build of the Erica Synths VCF. That seemed to go really smoothly, really nicely. I hope yours does too. Didn't seem to be particularly difficult. I think I read, says Alan, that something is not standard about this kit. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think there is a certain quirk to it, because they are trying to get down to a certain price point. They're trying to have the components and the circuits to be as simple and straightforward as possible, in order to make it easy to access and easy to build on a breadboard, things like that. So, you know, there's a lot of thought gone into that more than the actual perfection of the things. It's like, for instance, the self-resonance not tracking 1 volt per octave, things like that. That's all fine, because this is a cut down, simplified, and made to be affordable type system. And it is, and it's great, and it still sounds excellent. I mean, this is giving a really good level of interesting output, and there's more to come. There's much more to come. But that, I mean, if you were just to get these bits, I think with a mult, like, you know, something simple like this sort of thing, you can double up on the gates to get both the VCA and the envelope working. You know, I mean, why don't I do that? I mean, I do have actually a couple of stackables. I mean, that would be exciting, wouldn't it? But no, I don't know where they are. So I'll just use something like this, and I'll take my gate into there, and that will allow me to gate up again. And just as an exit tune, I'll try this out. So I can now hopefully gate both envelopes. Put that on a single, having nothing to do with it. Bing, bing, bing. There we go. Bing, bing, bing. Going at the same, although differently, obviously. So this, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to use this one for the VCA. Like so. Cheers, Mr. Jensen. Thanks for stopping by. So I'm using the same gate from the sequencer, is now running the VCA, which is there. That gives it a much more defined, bouncy sound. That's lovely. Really? Really? Thanks for that, whoever you are. Just when I was doing something exciting, eh? You come along there and tempt me with your good cheap loving. Yeah, it's ready to go. Can you clock the delay from the sequencer? Asks Bagman. Not from here. I do have a clock out, so I could, but I don't have a cable to hand just at the minute. But yeah, you have a clock in and a clock out on sequencer, so if you have a clockable delay, then that is going to work. Yes. So there we go. Yeah, like I say, just a mult would be good, but otherwise you can use a stackable or something like that, and that allows you to split your gate to a couple of envelopes. You can control the filter and the VCA separately. Glorious! This is what modular and synthesis and stuff is all about. Fantastic. So there we go. 9:30, 2 hours on the dot. I think we'll probably leave it there. What do you think? Yeah? Sounds all right to me. Anything else I've got to say or cover? I don't think so. I think we're pretty good at this point. So yeah, thanks very much for sticking with me for this live stream. Coming up from Molten Modular, oh, I don't know, lots of stuff coming up, all sorts of things I should imagine, so look out for that, won't you? That'll be exciting. No, I can't think of anything else, but thanks to everyone in the chat for spending time and talking to me and keeping me company. That's been great, much appreciated. And in the meantime, go make some tunes. Thanks, Ken. See you later.